Friends, today is Saturday, the 25th of July. We're back at the cathedral, and today is the Feast of St. James. St. James, Santiago, the place of pilgrimage in Europe, in Spain, Santiago de Compostela. The gospel today talks about the mother of the sons of Zebedee who comes to Jesus with a request. And Jesus says, well, what is it? And she says, command that these two sons of mine sit one at your right and the other at your left when you come into the kingdom. One at your right and one at your left. One would have to say that James and John in our gospel today are in a very bad spiritual place. In fact, even a dangerous spiritual place. They are what some theologians call in their own kind of ego drama. Not the theodrama, where all of us have a place, but the ego drama, where we are the producer, and the director, and the actor, and everything is me, me, me. And what James and John want in this, of course, is power and honor. Power and honor for themselves. Not a good place to be. You know, I mentioned the pilgrimage to Santiago de Compostela. Part of the reason for a pilgrimage is to deal with that ego. Take a good look at ourselves. What we need to do to remove ourselves from that ego drama and to insert ourselves into the theodrama. I recently visited the Oregon Trail Interpretive Center in Baker City. And the Oregon Trail, I kind of see as a metaphor for the spiritual life and the pilgrimage, the pilgrimage that all of us are on in this life. And the Interpretive Center, it's a beautiful, wonderful place in Baker City where you can actually see the ruts of the Oregon Trail. But there's a part of the exhibit is the things the pilgrims or those on the Oregon Trail left behind. What they left behind. And I saw that, again, as a kind of metaphor of the spiritual life, a pilgrimage in which we leave things behind. And of course, along the Oregon Trail, the things that were left behind, a big bureau of some sort of dresser, big pieces of furniture, heavy pots and pans, things that the pilgrims, the travelers on the trail, would not really be able to get over the mountains unless they let go, unless they just dropped them along the trail and said goodbye. And I see that as a metaphor in the spiritual life for all of us as, well, what do we need to let go of, to leave along the trail? You know, with James and John and their search for honor and power, looking to in a sense, elevate themselves greater than their brother apostles. That search for power, of course, led to dissension. It says, when the 10 heard this, that is the request of James and John, when they heard this, the others became indignant. Our ego power search leads to disunity and dysfunction. And so for most of us, like James and John, what do we need to leave? What do we need to leave along that trail of pilgrimage, whether it's to Santiago de Compostela or whether it's to Oregon City? What do we need to leave behind? Well, it says in the gospel today, whoever wishes to be great among you shall be your servant, and whoever wishes to be first among you shall be your slave. We need to leave behind such things as pride, ego, desire for riches, desire for power, and so on. So that the load we carry, all that baggage, becomes light, and we make it over the hills and dales of the spiritual life. You know, we say in pilgrimages that the destination isn't always as important as the journey itself, because it's during the journey that the work takes place. You take a look at yourself. What do I need to let go of? All that baggage. You know, the first reading today fits in nicely. It says, we hold this treasure in earthen vessels. A treasure, a small treasure that fits into an earthen vessel. You know, it reminds me of the parables of the kingdom. The kingdom is like that pearl of great price that's found in the field, or the treasure in the field. Something light that can be carried, but of great price. So that all we have left when we reach that destination is what is most important. That pearl, that treasure. And so on this Feast of St. James, it might be good for all of us to put ourselves into a little mental pilgrimage. What do I need to leave behind? What do I need to leave behind to make it to my destination, which is the Lord? Hold that thought, and we'll see you tomorrow, Sunday.